Welcome, age of vintage society. Craggy-faced, dependable star character actor Van Heflin never quite made the Hollywood A-list, but made up for what he lacked in appearance with hard work, charisma and solid acting performances. A versatile craftsman, actor Van Heflin was never concerned with popularity or comfortable with stardom. Why was Van Heflin never a part of the Hollywood glamour set? Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. Van Heflin, a very complex man. Don't look back, baby. Don't ever look back. With these words to Elizabeth Scott at the end of The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, Van Heflin may have oddly foreshadowed how little information about him exists today, and that's a shame. At the outset, though, we do get details of Heflin's early life. This video highlights how his diverse experiences gave him an emotional honesty and ability to essay a wide range of characters. An early mentor, director Richard Bolslowski, apparently said Heflin was a strange mixture of scholarly gentleman and two-fisted sailor. Heflin's career choices are detailed along the way. Heflin was hampered by his contract with MGM. The studio wasn't a good match, and when he finally exited there, he had lost many good years. However, if you didn't know that in 1943 Heflin played a romantic lead to Judy Garland in a light comedic role in Presenting Lily Mars. He was a very complex man and brilliant actor who cared deeply about his craft, even intending to get a doctorate and lecture in drama and film studies in his later years. He may not have fulfilled the star potential that his talent warranted, but the case that considering his entire filmography, one can not only appreciate his diverse skill, but also conclude he raised the quality of nearly every film he appeared in. As I discovered him in this film noir and then the classic western Shane, I began to believe the man could play anything. It turns out he was good-looking and charismatic enough to land leading man roles, and quirky enough to essay villains, sidekicks or desperate men. His talents put him arguably in the top echelon of the purest actors of Hollywood's golden age. My first Van Heflin film was George Stevens's Shane, my dad's favourite movie, and it established my impression of him, which remains essentially unaltered after seeing numerous other performances of his over the decades. Heflin generally had the thankless role of being an everyman, a sad sack standing in for the audience, a fifth wheel, three's a crowd kind of guy. This is why, despite having starred in many famous movies, he's really perhaps never thought of as a movie star. You don't go Cary Grant, Clark Gable, Van Heflin. He seems a supporting player or a character actor, even in films where he gets top billing or is the co-star. In this he reminds me of the slightly later Arthur Kennedy. The people around him outshine him in glamour, and he labours. He's the drone. Shane is a good example. Alan Ladd, dashing hero. Jack Palance, nasty villain. Jean Arthur, yearning lonely heart. And Van Heflin, a stiff-necked farmer who just wants to be left alone to clear stumps and push his plough. His niche was to be unglamorous in Hollywood movies, which is often necessary in stories, but it is also like being a fish in the desert, far from home and very likely there just to be someone's dinner. But significantly, he also manages not to be anonymous. He's not forgettable. Those huge eyes and that humongous forehead, always scowling, fretting, fussing, leave an impression. Van Heflin's enduring talent as an actor was recognised early on Broadway and in Hollywood, where he won an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor in Johnny Eager, and later attained distinction in Shane and many other successes. In 1950 he declared his independence from Hollywood's binding commitments, branching out into Broadway and television. Although few of the movies attained great critical acclaim, Heflin clearly preferred this pattern of professional life to the rigidities of Hollywood. Emmett Evan Heflin Jr. was born on December 13, 1910, the son of Fanny Bleecker and Dr. Emmett Evan Heflin. He was of Irish and French ancestry. Heflin's sister was daytime Emmy-nominated actress Frances Heflin. When his parents split up, Van, aged 7, went to stay with his grandmother in Long Beach, California, and, living in the coastal town, he developed a lasting love for the sea. After graduating from Long Beach Polytechnic, he joined the crew of a tramp steamer for a year. The son of an Oklahoma dentist, Heflin got a master's in theatre from Yale, where he earned a degree in theatre. His college career at the university was interrupted by numerous voyages as a merchant seaman and by his first Broadway credit, in October 1928 as Evan Heflin playing Junior Jones in Channing Pollock's Mr. Moneypenny. It was not well received, and a discouraged Heflin returned to the seafaring life, this time for 3 years. When he returned to America, he also returned to the stage, and he appeared in 2 plays in 1934, The Bride of Torozko and The Night Remembers. Neither was successful, but Heflin persisted, and in 1936 he was rewarded with a good role in the S. N. Berman comedy End of Summer at the Guild Theatre. Heflin gained experience in Philadelphia's Hedgerow Theatre, at the Yale School of Drama, and from a season of stock in Denver. He was an understudy in the Broadway musical Sailor Beware. He was seen on stage by Katharine Hepburn, and it was she who was instrumental in persuading the young actor to try film acting. He signed a contract with RKO and appeared with Hepburn in A Woman Rebels in 1936, following it with The Outcasts of Poker Flat, and top billing in Saturday's Heroes in 1937. In 1939, Heflin returned to the stage to rejoin Katharine Hepburn in the hit play The Philadelphia Story, which ran for a year at the Shubert Theatre. It got Heflin noticed, and in 1940 led to a choice role alongside Errol Flynn, Olivia de Havilland and Ronald Reagan in the western Santa Fe Trail at Warner Brothers. The movie was a big hit and also led to a contract offer from major studio MGM. He often wore a little moustache in the early years and was a bit less distinctive. He received the Best Supporting Oscar in 1941 for his performance in the noir thriller Johnny Eager. It is an early film noir from 1941 and is about a recent parole that is working as a taxi driver, so we think. Johnny is played by Robert Taylor and catches the eye of Elizabeth, a student of sociology played by noir femme fatale legend Lana Turner. Elizabeth is the stepdaughter of the prosecutor that knows Johnny isn't on the level and wants to put him back in prison. Johnny uses people more than violence to get what he wants and doesn't mind doing it. Though Turner is amazing as the jolted lover and Taylor plays the dapper hood well, the standout in this film is Van Heflin. Heflin plays Jeff, the right-hand man of Eager, but he isn't the usual muscle. He is quite original, and in 1941 there wasn't many to compare him to yet. Jeff is a well-educated man who uses big words and quotes great literature. His one weakness is he has a problem with alcohol. Jeff is Johnny's conscience as well in this film, telling him when he is doing wrong by others or making the wrong decisions. Too bad Johnny never learns or listens to Jeff. Johnny always thinks he's the smartest man in the room, but sometimes he isn't. Van Heflin won Best Supporting Actor for this portrayal, and I can see why. This is a good film on its own, but if you're a noir lover, I think you will really like the plot and Van Heflin and Lana Turner, and worth the viewing. He had proved an excellent showcase for his acting skills. He played a complex, sardonic character, at once loyal soldier, yet abjectly self-loathing. For his role as the heavy-drinking, Shakespeare-quoting mobster with a conscience, Van got the Academy Award as Best Supporting Actor in 1942. He was immediately cast in the leading role as a forensically minded detective in Kid Glove Killer, a film which marked the debut of Fred Zinnemann as a feature director. This was in turn followed by another B-movie whodunit, Grand Central Murder. The prestigious, but not always accurate, historical drama Tennessee Johnson saw Van playing Andrew Johnson, the 17th US President. While the film was a critical success, it did less well at the box office. The New York Times commented on the sincerity and strength of his performance, adding, "Mr. Heflin is a full-bodied, carefully delineated portrait of a passionate man. gives decisive proof that his talents have thus far been haphazardly used. In between wartime service and 2 musicals presenting Lily Mars and the Jerome Kern biopic Till the Clouds Roll By, Van appeared in the excellent film noir The Strange Love of Martha Ivors, with Barbara Stanwyck as the inevitable femme fatale and Kirk Douglas as an alcoholic district attorney. As the sympathetic gambler Sam, who returns to his hometown ostensibly to expose the dirty secrets of the main protagonists, Van had more on-screen time than his illustrious co-stars and some good lines to boot. Van put his tough guy screen persona to good use in enacting Raymond Chandler's wisecracking gumshoe Philip Marlowe on NBC Radio from June 1947, with 19 real-life Los Angeles detectives among the live audience. During the next few years, the versatile Heflin dealt capably with a wide variety of assignments. He appeared as a jilted lover in the expensively produced costume drama Green Dolphin Street. He was Athos, one of the 3 musketeers, and an ex-GI on the trail of a psychopathic prison camp informer in Fred Zinnemann's Act of Violence. Poignant as the unloved Monsieur Bovary in Madame Bovary, an ex-cop in love with a high-flying socialite in the melodrama East Side, West Side, and a cop whose affair with a married woman leads to a plot to kill her husband in The Prowler. The 1950s saw Van's progression from leading man to star character actor. Having left MGM in 1949, he was signed in this capacity to several short-term contracts by Universal, 20th Century Fox, Columbia and Paramount. Apart from the big business drama Patterns, 1956, he is best remembered in this decade for his portrayal of Western characters with integrity and singularity of purpose, as the struggling homesteader at the mercy of a ruthless cattle baron who befriends Shane, the desperate single-minded rancher trying to get a captured outlaw on the 310 to Yuma, and the tough, uncompromisingly stern father forced to kill his errant son in Gunman's Walk. With the possible exception of his sympathetic German captain of a World War II surface raider in the offbeat international co-production Under 10 Flags, Heflin had few roles of note in the 1960s. He appeared in the calamitous flop The Greatest Story Ever Told, a Biblia, and the equally disastrous Stagecoach remake. One of his last performances was as the deranged bomber in Airport. His final curtain call on stage was as Robert Sloane in A Case of Libel on Broadway. Unlike many of his peers, Van shunned the limelight and was never a part of the Hollywood glamour set. He was married, 2nd time, for many years to Frances Neal, had 3 children, but sadly they divorced a few years before Heflin's death. This experience seemed to have a negative effect on Heflin's physical and emotional health, and there was a hint of a potential alcohol problem. I wonder what was below the surface of the iceberg here. There are conflicting reports that he was both beloved by his co-stars and also considered difficult or a scene stealer. His last major movie was Airport, in which he played a crazed bomber on a plane. Heflin, a husky outdoors man, avid fisherman and hunter, was found clinging to a ladder in the swimming pool at his apartment house after suffering a heart attack June 6th. He swam 20 laps a day, rain or shine. He lapsed into unconsciousness and never regained the use of his faculties. The actor left instructions that no public or private funeral be held, and that his remains be cremated and scattered over the Pacific Ocean, where he loved to sail and fish. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. He impressed in all genres, convincingly portraying every type of character from heel to hero. His contemporary was also famous, and not just for nothing. Watch this video and find out why Jack Palance knocked out Marlon Brando.